high heels.
There you go.
It's not that high.
It's Friday.
Yes.
We're sliding into the weekend.
We should be.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. And you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys? So I just have to tell you before we get started that I was told I was allowed to buy one thing with my bat mitzvah money before putting all of the rest into savings for college, and I bought a black Kate Spade messenger bag, which was really a big moment in my life. So this is a big moment for me, personally.
Okay, good.
Was it real or counterfeit?
It was real. It didn't have a capital P in the Spade.
Right. I just wish you would tell my daughter that.
It was a huge moment. It was changed my life. So I'm really happy to talk to you.
I need to show this to my daughter because she thinks I have done nothing.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think we all in this room know that that's not true. So why don't we start out by you telling us a little bit about Frances Valentine and how that idea came up and about the business a bit.
Well, when the two of us sold the company with our other two partners to Neiman Marcus, it just was kind of a time for us to take a break. So we sold Kate Spade, and I personally, I don't know about Andy, took off a good 9 years raising my daughter and absolutely adored every moment of it. And then I realized that she was becoming 12 and really didn't want me around so much. So I thought I'd get back into the business.
I feel like 12 is a generous amount of time. Like you were having a good time for 12 years. I feel like my mom would have said like 6 or 7.
Right. Well, I was very generous. I just hope she sees this as well.
Yeah, if you're watching, we're talking right to you.
I was really nice.
I always knew that the sign would be when my daughter started closing her door and not wanting us in, or kind of talking back, it's time to start a business.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a good marker. So why shoes?
You know, it's funny, when I left Kate Spade, it was one of the things that I most adored, oddly, because everyone associates me with handbags. But what I ended up really loving when I left, it happened to be shoes. And everyone associated me with handbags, but I really adored shoes. And the detail of it, it was funny. It just seemed very natural. And when we decided to do this, I called upon our old designer, Paolo from Italy, and she at that time was at Prada, and she said, "Oh, no, I can't do it right now." And then, "No, I just got promoted at Prada," and I was like, "We can't compete with that." And then finally she called and said, "Oh, I think I'm ready." And I go, "Okay, let's do it." So we did it.
Amazing. How do you think shoe design differs? What do you like more about it, and what do you like more about designing handbags?
Me? You?
Well,
Oh, okay. I'll give my point of view, then she'll give hers.
Perfect.
I feel like shoes are more like sculpture. You're working with shape and form, and
Yep.
you're working with actually a mold of a heel, which is beautiful. So there are 2 heels Kate and Paolo designed, a martini heel, and then one based on the geodesic dome by your friend, the architect. And so I think it's more playful. It's almost like jewelry. Mm-hmm. Now let's see what she thinks.
On to you.
I found the details to be very interesting, and I feel like I had done so much in handbags that I really adored the details of shoes, and I adore shoes and the silhouette and the it's a much smaller scale to work with. Mm-hmm. Although it's much more difficult in terms of retail because of sizing and all of that.
Right.
It's a more difficult.
It's not
area
one
to get
size
into.
fits
Yeah.
all like handbags.
Like
right?
a handbag, yes. But I was up for the challenge. I hope.
Now we're going back and forth, so I want to touch on working together as a couple. You've been working together for a really long time. What are the challenges, and kind of what do you think is the best part about working as a team?
I think that it's the best part about working, and then I'll go to the challenges. I'll start with the good, and then I'll end on the good as well. The good part is that we share the same aesthetic, and we like the same
That's
things. And she happens to be very, very detail-oriented, and I happen to think more conceptually in ideas, so I'll come up with an idea like inspiration from an architect or a building for a shoe, or something that I found on the street, and I'll do a very rough sketch. You wouldn't even call it a sketch, actually. And it's almost like someone's setting a volleyball up, and then Kate will come along and she'll make sure all the details work. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a team of someone setting something up and someone finishing it. I think that's how we usually work.
Yes. I will say that you do these rough sketches, which I have to work, and I go with them because I do understand what he's saying. And he's very simple, and I understand his aesthetic very well. I mean, we've been together over 30 years.
Wow, let's get a round of applause for that. That's awesome. How do you think it's changed working together since having a child, if it has?
I do all the work now.
Okay, that is such a joke. I do all the work. What is the headmaster's school's middle name or his name?
Oh no, we're getting quiz now.
Yeah.
This is the beauty of being together 30 years. I have ADDHLMNOP, if you know what that is. My memory's terrible, but I think the change is that, we really manage our time better. So, we have our time to be home with our daughter, and then we have our time to kind of, go to the office and do our work. And we have a great designer in Milan, who Kate mentioned, Paolo. So we have a great team, and our partner, Elyce, is in the back there. And we have great people who we work with. So it's more organized now. I think when you don't have to be somewhere at any time. We worked day and night for the first, 20 years
That's
at Kate
true.
Spade. So now we kind of try to have a life at the same time.
That sounds nice. I think that sounds important, having a life and managing a huge operation, right?
Yeah.
I want to just talk to you briefly. Right now, especially right now, everybody is obsessed with branding themselves. It's, on social media or, people want to become a brand. Mm-hmm. And I think arguably there are a few people who have done that as well as you. I think that, your brand and your name are so widely admired and known and kind of has held throughout all of these years. How did you do it? I know we don't have that much time, but let's.
Right.
I want to dig in there a little bit because I think a lot of people would like to know
right.
that.
And I would actually have wanted to know before I started, and I didn't. And actually, it was very, very honestly.
Organic.
Yeah, it was done just so authentically. But I will say that Andy really portrayed the company very well because his knowledge, having been in advertising, understood the power of branding, but kept saying, don't overbrand. Like, if you overbrand, then it's over. Okay?
Yeah.
So you did it very naturally. I'll let you take it from there.
I think
I felt comfortable with it.
I think that if you think of brands, there are brands that are made up by marketing people, and they come up with ideas or names and then put them out into the world, and sometimes they succeed. Ours was actually kind of organic. It's authentic, mostly to Kate.
Right.
And I think that's what was a big part of it. We're putting out what we love, and it's an extension of us, and I think people relate to that, because brands are people too, and it's just a person that manifests itself in a product, and so it has a personality that reflects Kate's personality, and I think that's important to branding, and I think some people overdo it where it feels like it's phony, and people know that about brand. They can sense if it's phony.
Right. Absolutely. And it's held up. I feel like it's just held up so well over all these years. So
Yes, I think Andy did a great job, despite when I get mad at you for other things. I do think you did a good job there. Instilling a great DNA into the company.
Absolutely. Have you always shared the same kind of aesthetic
Absolutely.
from day one?
Day one since we met.
Yeah, I think she used to wear these jeans when we were in college together. I actually do. I don't think this is a false statement. I think that she wore these jeans when she worked as an editor at a magazine, and she worked for a senior editor there, I think the fashion editor, who needed a belt on one occasion, so she asked Kate for her belt, which is my belt, of course. Took it off her, and Kate's pants were hanging down to here. Remember that? And ran off to get a photograph of the belt, but you were standing alone, like with your pants down to your waist.
Not a great point in my career.
Well, I don't know. Menswear is so in. So
Right. Okay. Well, I was ahead of my time, I guess.
what do you think is the best piece of advice either of you received when you were launching the brand? Or in general?
I think mine was, it comes from skateboarding, but it's kind of about demonstrating what you believe, and it's called Shut Up and Skate. Have you heard it?
I have not.
It's all the kids sit around and talk about how good they are, and they never put themselves out there, and I think it's about really putting yourself out there and doing it, and not waiting, and you always think you're not going to be good enough, but if you just start at some point, we didn't start a company, we made a bag, and then over time, you build something, so you can't be daunted by trying.
Yeah, that's great advice. How about you?
Mine would be from my boss that said, don't come back with an answer other than yes. And I was like, what? And then I remember thinking, okay, just do it. Like, it sounds like Nike, but it was like, just do it. No matter what it takes, just do it. So that was the best advice. She was a big influence.
What do you, is there anything you wish you knew? Is there anything you know now that you wish you had known back then?
Yes, to worry less. I wish I worried less. I think I worried throughout the company and
Still do.
yeah, still do.
I think
Okay.
it's a little easier said than done, right?
Right, yeah.
Will you talk a little bit about your path? Because I don't know if a lot of people know that you were actually on the editorial side, working in journalism before you started designing. So can you walk us through that a little bit?
I graduated with a journalism degree, and I moved to New York, and then Condé Nast, which, they own Vanity Fair, Mademoiselle, Vogue, Glamour, everything. And I had an interview, and they said, oh, we have nothing in the articles department, but we have something in fashion at Mademoiselle. And I go, I'll take it. And they were like,
What was your relationship with fashion at that point?
well, I adored it. And my mother very much indulged me in, allowing me to go to thrift stores and buy funny little pieces of clothing. And everyone in my family, I'm one of 6, they were like,
Wow.
oh my goodness, what is she wearing? A leopard coat with green gloves. And I was like, yes, it's the rage. And everyone's like, I don't think so.
I think like a lot of people who don't, grow up in fashion, that you have your own ideas of what you like. She would hunt for things in the
Yes.
stores, and wear leopard coats with my jeans, and it was kind of, the Buffalo Exchange in college where we would
Yep.
shop, right? And so I think that she didn't realize it, but she had an understanding of what she liked, and I think that translated into her doing a great job as an editor, picking things that she liked.
And how long were you working as an editor?
Well, I started off I was tying shoes for Naomi Campbell, Scouts on her guys.
Ooh,
Yes.
tell us all
When
about
she
that.
Was, she was really young. She was like
14, I think.
14,
Oh my
15, and it was a Burt Stern photo shoot who shot Marilyn Monroe. And I had to tie her shoes because she couldn't bend over because it would wrinkle her up. And I remember thinking, did I really go to college to tie somebody's shoes? Are you serious?
That's a testament to anybody who is in college and doing kind of these tasks, because
Start from the bottom.
Start from the bottom. Now we're here.
Yes. Okay. I mean, honestly, people, I don't know if they understand it, but do start from the bottom.
What inspires you?
People. And I think the environment. I would love to say something much more intelligent, like art or museums or writing. And I would just say, honestly, people. I look at the street and, I'm not sure I reflect the street as much as I absorb it and then interpret it.
How about you, Andy?
My inspiration does come from the terrible thing she just mentioned. I'm the one
Terribly
who
intelligent.
actually goes to look and get inspired by a lot of things out there in the world. And yes, I am cliche. I do, but I also get inspired by people who have personal style on the street, not high fashion. Although I love McQueen and their ideas, it's just like that's not where our sensibility comes from.
Oh, yeah.
So it's more.
But we greatly, okay, Ray Calcubo, can we just put out a handout to that one? I adore Comme des Garçons, and everyone's like, but you don't really look like a Comme des Garçons woman. And I'm like, adore her.
First
Finally,
of all,
the Mets doing her,
She's
right?
a
Yes.
Japanese avant-garde.
yeah.
kind of-
So
Love.
if anybody wants to see what that is like, you can look out for the Met Gala dresses because that's the theme this year.
Yes.
I think, there is something so valuable in high fashion. There's also something so valuable in being relatable and
Right.
speaking to your base, and that inspires us. And you two have inspired so many people. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We're going to take some questions from the audience. We have our first one.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Thanks
Hi.
for being here. Kate, this question's for you. Your color has always been a huge part of your brand. Huge. And I love color, even though I'm not
You're all in black,
dressed for it today. But
and I'm not either right
well, sometimes you got to take a break.
now. Right.
Why is color so important to you, and what is your favorite color?
I find color optimistic and enthusiastic, and I adore it. I don't even know how else to say it. I absolutely love. My daughter dies. Like, I bought this orange.
Oh, yeah, the dress we shot yesterday.
Yeah.
Is she into fashion?
No.
Her own
How could it be?
I know, because I am, she's not. So if I say I like
when
that,
it's your
she says I don't.
parents.
Yeah, she has her
Yes.
own. She has her own style. She's not really into our sense. But,
Got it.
No,
She's time.
but I
Yeah,
do love
she's
color.
12.
I bought this orange Prada coat, and everyone looked at me like, "Are you joking? Who would ever wear that?" I go, "I will." And when I wear it, everyone says, "I love it."
Over here.
Hi, Kate. I know that you recently changed your name. I would want to know a little bit more about your decision to do that.
Do you know that I actually did it because I wanted to make sure that we didn't in any way confuse our company today, Francis Valentine, with our namesake, Kate Spade, me. And so I had to do Catherine Knoll, Noel. Someone spelled it Knoll. It's not. Catherine Knoll, Francis Valentine.
Spade.
This
I'm
is
not
real.
even
This is
sure I
like
know.
a team in action
So she
right
added
here, ladies and
her,
gentlemen.
she actually added to her name. She didn't change
I
it.
didn't
She
change
added
it.
to name. So now she has
But now I'm
five or
like-
6 names. She doesn't know who she is. And I don't know if it helped people from getting confused, actually. I don't know if the...
Because I'm confused.
Yeah, so I don't know if we're not clear on it. I don't know if anyways. But we wanted to try to, keep the two companies separate. So by changing her name, if there's a photograph of her somewhere, they could say Kate Brosnahan, Valentine, Noel, Spade. But she wanted to be referred to not as
It's not
just
Noel,
Kate
it's
Spade, but
Noel.
Kate Valentine. So that was the intent.
Doesn't it sound royal?
You do sound royal.
Yeah, with those all
And
those
we
names.
I just wrote a story about how Princess Diana switched the names in her vows because he had so many names. So it even happens to royals.
Okay, I didn't even know that.
We have another question.
Okay.
You've both had such impressive careers. I'm wondering if you could give us a little insight onto what's next.
I think for us, Francis Valentine's a startup right now, so I think it is, building that over time and hopefully making, an interesting company and build a great culture in our company and grow it in the way that we love companies to grow, which means everyone comes in, they're happy in the morning, they love what they do. Fortunately, we don't have to grow it as quickly as Kate Spade, which took off without us even. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, that's an amazing thing unto itself. But I also have a company called Sleepy Jones, which is a sleepwear company, and
Makes
like-
awesome pajamas.
Yeah, Sleepy Jones.
Yeah, it is.
To grow that, I think right now we have so much new kind of concepts we're working on that I think it's bringing them kind of to the world now. Because a lot of people don't know these new companies are out there yet. So I think we have a lot of work
I'm
to do.
going to write a child's book about how to get through the pre-teen years. I'm joking.
Not from
I just
experience.
want to read the book of someone that has had experience with raising a preteen.
Yeah.
Please.
And we have one more.
I wanted to know, since you took a hiatus from the fashion industry, how does it feel like coming back after 10 years?
For me, it was slow because I really enjoyed my time off. I enjoyed being a mother beyond. And so coming back was a little slower than I did it the first time, I must say. But I enjoy it, but on a different level. I put it kind of in its own little space compared to before it was like the only space. And now I have to put it aside and say, well, you're here, my family's here, and I have to divide my time, which is actually easy to do, despite what people think.
And I think that Kate actually inspired a lot of people through, starting Kate Spade on her own without any experience, without, a big fashion degree. And so a lot of people started new fashion handbag companies and shoe companies, so now we're competing with them. So you did a terrible job there, by the way. So she inspired a lot of
Thank
people.
you.
So the world is different now. We didn't have social media when we left
That's
9-10 years
That's
ago. So
Huge difference now.
from a
Yeah.
communication standpoint, a marketing standpoint, there's a lot more that we need to do. And instead of there being 10 big handbag shoe companies, there are probably 1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, hundreds. So it's a whole different world, and you have to be really, I think, direct and understand kind of what your point of view is, and stand out.
Well, thank you both so much for being here. Thank you all for being here. Let's get one more round of
Thanks,
applause
guys.
for Kate.